Hi, my name is Matthew, and I will be your learning guide for this guided learning video, solving a literal equation for a variable in the numerator. Example number 1, given f equals g times big M times little m over L squared, solve for big M. Literal equations are equations that include letters and numbers. They can also include powers or roots, as well as other math operators. For most students, they are equations they have never seen before and simply used in this context to understand how to solve for a certain variable in terms of the other variables without knowing the value of the other variables. Start by rewriting the original equation as f equals g big M little m over L squared. G, big M, and little m are now in the numerator together. I generally like to circle or point to the variable that I am solving for to make sure that I don't lose track of it along the way. First, undo division by L squared by multiplying both sides by L squared. Rewrite the left side as f times L squared equals g times big M times little m. Next, you have a choice, and my preference is to divide both sides by both g and little m at the same time. Notice on the right that these cancel, leaving you with just the variable that you're solving for. M equals f times L squared over g times little m. As I mentioned, in the previous line, you have an option. You could first choose to divide both sides by big G and by big G. Again, G cancels. F L squared over G equals big M times little m. Now you divide both sides by m and m. This creates the awkward scenario of division within a fraction. Little m still goes in the bottom, but it is my preference to avoid this situation altogether. Even though they result in the same final answer, it's best to divide everything out in one step if possible. Let's take a look at example number 2. Given f equals g times big M times little m over L squared, solve for little m. This is a great place to pause the video and see if you can determine the value of m in terms of the other variables. Let's start by rewriting the given equation with big G, big M, and little m over L squared. Again, G, big M, and little m are in the numerator. Always identify the variable that you're solving for, that way you don't lose track of it along the way. First, clear the fraction by multiplying both sides by L squared. I'm going to write f times L squared, and this is my preference to write f first, followed by L squared, equals G times big M times little m. Again, as I mentioned in the previous example, it's best to divide both sides by everything at once if you can, in this case, big G and big M. Notice they cancel on the left here, leaving you m equals f times L squared over G times big M. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to see more videos like this one on your academic journey through math. Leave a comment below and let me know which example you found most helpful. Check out more free content at tutoringbymatthew.com.